we may get that. I'm going into the YouTube now, and that's when we got it before. We may get that.
Maybe.
All right. Let me see if we're on YouTube now.
It says it's streaming.
Yep.
Nope. I'm not going to eat on YouTube, so my video will be back in a little bit.
There's one person watching. Hi, Shane.
Hello, Mike.
I think we're okay. We're on YouTube without any echo tonight.
Good. Excellent news. Let's see. I think I'm just going to mute this for now unless you holler at me, then I'll unmute it.
Okay.
Mike, I'm going to get off of here for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Welcome, PJ.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
just saying hi.
so people will know that's not normal, but that's the best you do, so. Kind of wish that wasn't so obvious, but.
Hi, Clarence.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Todd.
Clarence, how are you tonight?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Is everybody okay over there?
Yep,
Everybody in the group?
yep.
Good, good.
Waiting on people to arrive and asked to be admitted. It's Mike's iPhone, but I don't know which mic it is.
It's Mike Reeder.
We need to, we need to make that Mike's R.
I turned my video on for you.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, you look a lot more like Reader than Beck, so
Well, thank you. You doing all right?
doing fine.
Good, good. Hi, Alicia. I need to call you and set up an appointment.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome anytime.
Hi, Joe.
Comes Kent.
How's things going out the lift station, PJ?
We're all right right now. We're limping along.
No alarms?
No.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's the other Mike's iPhone coming on. Hello, Mike Beck.
Hi, Mike.
Did he say he knew Larry Cox?
Meeting will start in about 3 minutes. kind of interesting. I have YouTube on a computer right here beside this one. And the time delay between when like someone waves or whatever, and when it comes up on YouTube, it's about 25, 30 seconds. Welcome, Rick.
I think I'm off mute. Thank you. Well, good to see you all. Apologize for missing last week's meeting. I lost track of the days.
They all run together anymore, don't they?
That's for sure, Mike. That's for sure.
Well, I have 7 o'clock, so at this time, I'd like to call the Utility Service Board meeting of Monday, February 1st to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I think Joe's got it set so you can see it. See the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will start this meeting also saying that Joe and I are over probably at about 12, 13 feet apart. So that's why we are not masked in this setting. All right, Andrew, you want to call roll, please?
Rick Gunyon,
Present.
Joe Root,
Present.
Mike Reeder,
Present.
Kent Brewer,
Present.
Mike Kelly.
Present, all present tonight. I gotta admit, Chris, he's coming in. I don't have any public comments. I don't see any anywhere on the Zoom from the face or the YouTube. So we'll go to the minutes that you were presented in your packet for January 19th.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
The motion by Joe, correct? Or did you make that, Joe? I wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And a second by Mike Reeder. Roll call, Andrew.
Rick Gunyon,
Abstain.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Joe Root,
Aye.
Kent Brewer,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. The next item of business is a technology report. We allocated quite a bit of money last year to upgrade a lot of the technology that's available for us. And I've asked Shane to kind of bring us up to speed on what's done, what's not done. I know that he's got quite a bit of it accomplished. So Shane, we're going to turn it over to you. I know you provided us a handout in the board packet. So if you could kind of go over that with us, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, let's see. If you look at the page in the packet, the backup is done. That's all completed. The next three sections, the cybersecurity, Cisco ASA, the cybersecurity multi-factor, and the WinTech portions, that started happening towards the end of 2020. So it's just various stages of whether the vendor is trying to get some things ready so we can finish them, or we're just in different stages of trying to get that completed. Moving on to the merge city fire and utility domains, that was canceled due to doing email a different method. Moving on down to the Trident 7. The majority of that has been completed. I still have a few switches to go out in the field. Needs completed. And then the last item, the data center UPS, that one is completed.
Mike, one thing on this, I want to jump in here too. This was all paid for last year in the last year's budget, so that we didn't carry it over into this year. So basically, we're just waiting on just some finalize basically from the labor end of things to finish these things up. But we will not see any more bills or anything into this year. So that's part of the reason why the budget was lowered for the USB going into 2021. But right now, everything is paid for, and we're just waiting to finalize things.
Mike, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm glad to get this report, Shane, and I know that this was one of the things that was kind of a high priority for us to get from you this last year. And I know with COVID and everything, we kind of quit asking about it, but I think it's great that you've got this report for us tonight. And we look forward to the day that you say it's all done, even the email, because that's going to be an important part of the whole process. So thank you, Shane. Anybody else have questions or comments for Shane?
I have a quick comment. So I would like to echo that, Mike. I think it's hard to appreciate when you see a few words on paper, and most of them are brand name, trade name items. It's hard to appreciate all the complexity and all the work that goes into that. So Shane, I'd like to thank you. I've got a passing awareness, let's say, of some of this stuff and how big it is. So you did a good job. My only coaching to you and Todd would be to take the remaining open things that are not quite done, and several of those rely on our vendors to take certain actions. I understand that. To take that remaining list of tasks and keep that in front of you and keep working through it until it's all complete. And I appreciate your efforts. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we will, Rick. Thank you.
Hearing no other comments, we'll move to the general manager's report.
Okay, I got several things from my end and from all the departments as well. Since we're still on this Zoom thing, I'll cover the departments. First thing, and it covers several of the departments, is the old hospital has been disconnected from electric. The sewer taps have all been dug up and sealed off for their demolition. The water's been shut off and capped off as well. So we should be done there, except for behind the Percival building. Phil mentioned today that there's one pole that we need to change out. If I'm not mistaken, Phil, it has a three-phase bank on it, and the pole is old. So as time permits, we're going to get down there and change that pole out, put the three-phase bank back on there. But for them to go ahead with their demolition, everything is done and completed on our end. We ran into a situation out at the TriMass lift station last week. Some pipes have corroded and we have leaks. It's going to be a major undertaking to where we probably have to rebuild that lift station. We got in last Friday afternoon, and had to put some band clamps on in three different locations. Didn't quite get the leaks completely stopped, but they are slowed down. And PJ has been working with F&K Construction They think that they can get in and replace the pipes, but we're still going to have to go into a reconstruction or remodel of TriMas lift station. And we have a design going on right now, and then we can get some quotes to get that done. By replacing the pipes, we'll probably get a year and a half out of this lift station because the concrete's corroding and we just have major issues out there. But it's something that the guys got in last week to put the band clamps on, and we had all hands on deck. From the sewer maintenance was there with their vac truck, sucking the waste down so that we could get in there and make it manageable. We had the fire department on hand as well from a safety standpoint, from a confined space restrictions. So they were there supporting us. But we found that our gas detectors, we're not quite fully supplied with gas detectors right now. They're telling us that we need 3 when we go down in a hole, 1 down in the bottom, 1 in the middle, and then 1 hanging off the person that is going down in the hole. And unfortunately, we dropped 1 of those last week. But we're in the Jim started pricing the equipment that we need today from a couple different vendors. We got 1 price in, we didn't get the second price yet, but we will be ordering some new safety equipment or gas detectors that has been recommended by the fire department. But as far as the lift station goes, like I said, we're working on this, and instead of making it an emergency, we can buy some time by having these pipes replaced. But everybody did a great job last week. PJ did a great job communicating with the factories that we had to shut down, Fontana Fastener and Cintas. And we also had to shut off the force main from Paddock's Trailer Park out there north of Jefferson. And everybody worked with us real well, but PJ coordinated all that and did a tremendous job. So I want to thank him as well. But we can, if there's any questions about this lift station, we can ask them now if you guys like. Kent and Mike Reeder's been deeply involved in it. And I don't know if they have any input on anything right now at this time as well.
Hey, PJ, how old is that lift station?
That lift station was constructed in 93.
93?
Yep.
Only question I have.
Well, this is Rick. That was the only question I was going to have, but can't beat me to it. So do we have a upcoming capital plan? Is it this year, or we're going to try to go another year or 2 to go in and actually rebuild the whole thing? Is that what I'm understanding?
I don't think we can wait 2 years, Rick. If we can get this and get it worked out and get it done this year, would probably be preferable. It's something that PJ found a report that was dated 2015 that all these things were brought to light, but it was never brought forward to the board back in 2015 with the situation that we're looking at this point in time. So I would say that if we can get these 2 pipes replaced, it's something that we really need to look at doing within the next year, probably in 2021. But last week we were looking at this thing having to be done in an emergency status. And I think we're putting a Band-Aid on, we're putting a fix in place right now, but it's not going to be a Band-Aid like what we did on Friday, if that makes sense.
No, I understand. What I want to tell you, I appreciate the fact you went ahead and got the fire department on scene. You can't be too careful with that confined space stuff. I think our utilities know that from personal experience, about 30 years ago. And
yes,
I'm glad you went to that effort, and I say keep on keeping on. So good work.
Yeah, when we first were trying to do it, they were notified. And then when we were really going in there and we was going to be in there for a while, they were actually on scene. The captain on duty from the headquarters showed up and let us know the situation, that if they had a house fire, they may have to call the crew. And we told them that if they had a house fire or something like that, we would pull the person out of the pit or out of the barrel. So we had it was done very, very well. I'm proud of the effort that was put forth by everybody.
Good, thanks.
Todd,
Mike,
go ahead.
I think we need to give a special thanks to the two firemen that were there. They showed deep concern about what was going on. They never left the edge of the barrel the whole time it was going on until our guy was completely out of the barrel.
Just refresh my memory on how does this TriMass lift station play into the 28 expansion west? Is there any part of that? I mean, that if that's part of the plan, we really don't want to wait till 2 years or whatever.
I'll let PJ answer that for us, Mike.
Well, TriMass doesn't have much to do with the 28 expansion or 65 at this point, but right now the capacity at TriMass is a little under 300,000 gallons a day. And with talking with Bridget today, we decided to at least double that for future. So while we're upgrading the lift station, we're taking future into consideration for the capacity as well. So
that's good to hear, because it assures you didn't do it. If something happened, and we would need more capacity out in that area just by the way things are growing out there. So I'm glad you're looking ahead. Thank you. Any other comments or questions for about that? Go ahead.
Okay. The water to 65 is going to be done Friday, and NHK will be online. Right now they're doing some flushing out of the mains to get the stagnant water out of there and getting a good water. So we just found that out today, or we found out last week they were supposed to do it over the weekend. They started doing it today. So if that's the case, we will have water. We will be supplying water to the I-65 interchange. From another water standpoint, while we did have a water main break on Green Street yesterday, our guys were out taking care of that. But with the construction being down a little bit right now, or this time of the year, and not fighting water main breaks day in and day out, it's been all hands on deck, entering information into Silversmith to get all the old cards put in there and all the information. They've been putting water main lines in to Silversmith. So Chris has done a great job getting his guys working on all that. And we won't have to rely on cards or guys running back and forth to the plant looking for information. They can pull it up on Silversmith and be ready to go. That's pretty much it from a water standpoint at this point. We already covered the TriMass thing. Out at the wastewater, you'll see in the claims that we had to get, and PJ may have to help me out with this too, 500 feet of PEX tubing to fix an alum leak. And it's something that we had to just put in place. It's somewhat of a temporary fix because the new injection point for our alum will be only 100 feet away from where we're doing it now. And like I said, we're injecting it at 500 feet. So with the new plant design, hopefully these problems will go away and it won't be as big of an issue anymore on that part. And obviously the construction's still going on. And at wastewater, I sent everybody the last week's report from Eric. Moving on to electric. We dodged a bullet last Monday, a week ago, with the ice storm. We did have a small outage, affected 100 to 125 people on the southeast portion of our system. It was out, I call it Old Ox Road. What road is it? 180 East. And the lines south of town built up with ice pretty severely. And what they call it is galloping, but what I said it looked like was a bunch of jump ropes just swirling in the wind, and it knocked our cross arms loose. And I think there was 9 of them that our guys had to go out and fix that night. So that was the only issue we had due to the ice storm, or I'll call it a mini ice storm. But we really did dodge a bullet last week when that stuff was coming through town. Also, from an electric standpoint, with the weather the way it is, the guys have been out changing some street lights around from some that we had in stock, with some that were probably 30, 40, or 50 years old, and getting those done as work. Pole change outs are on hold because of the snow that came in over the weekend. We just can't, it's not safe to get out and work alongside the road right now. And then we have some new fuse holders coming in. Will be work that our guys will be doing on somewhat of inclement weather days. It's just going to upgrade our system, make it better. And when we put these new fuse holders and stuff in, we'll be putting squirrel guards up as well, because everybody knows that squirrels are a big issue for us around town. It costs us a bunch of money every year, so we'll do our best to help control that situation. And that's it for pretty much for the departments. From my end, I've been talking to city council members about a new resolution or a new ordinance that has, not a new ordinance, it's a revised ordinance for our water rates that are coming or that are already in place. This ordinance modification reflects back to the contract rate that Frito-Lay gets. And because we're running so tight on our timeline for SRF funding, we need this to be for them to suspend the rules and pass it on one night instead of 3, and do all 3 readings in one night. So I talked to 3 council members so far. Clarence, I'll be giving you a call tomorrow. And everybody's understanding and so far have consensus that we should be able to get this done next Monday at their council meeting. But Nick Kyle has the ordinance all done and prepared, and Carol Bartley has a copy of it to put in their packet so that they can read it. And that's the last step that we need to get our SRF funding for the water expansion at this point in time. That's pretty much it for what we have going on right now, Mike.
Todd, are we amending the rates?
Those have already been done, Alicia. So this is just they're in the ordinance. There's a special clause for a contract rate, and since that was changed, we don't have to go through a public hearing. We don't have to go through any of that stuff. So Nick said that we could get it done if they suspend the rules. Because
that's where I was going.
Yeah, 2 of the council members have asked if it's going to affect the residents, and since it has no effect on them whatsoever, they do not have a problem suspending the rules and doing it in one night.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that if a hearing was needed, we had that all set up too. But
yeah, no, it does not have to be.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
We didn't hear anything. Stacy, you have anything from the billing office?
On that, Mike, I don't know if Stacy is unmuted or not yet. We're on schedule right now, and the way that the state has moved us into the orange and could be at 50% capacity, we're thinking that we're going to open the billing office to the lobby being open next week again, instead of just using the drive up. We've been fully staffed in there, and I think the county's been doing very well on their COVID. So we're looking at that we're going to open the lobby back up again next Monday, unless there's any suggestions from the board members to decide differently.
Is there any plastic barricades out
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I thought I heard somebody, but I guess not. Okay. Um,
I jump in and give a quick update from my standpoint.
Okay,
All of 2020, all the months are closed. And I'm looking to close the year sometime. I don't know if it'll be this week, but definitely next week. Making sure that the city has all of their stuff done and no changes will be made on their system. And then we'll close the year, and then it's just fixed assets and depreciation, and 2020 is done.
okay,
Can I ask a question of Andrew?
sure.
So, hey, Andrew, I'm just curious, can you give us a brief update? I don't recall specifically what training we might have signed up for in terms of software training and so forth this year. But I'm curious as to both what we signed up for and schedule-wise, and then if you have any update about whether those are actually going to be events that actually occur or occur over a web meeting or will be rescheduled. Can you give us any updates on that stuff?
So last year we had 3 specific training days. I know I had at least one. I might have had 2, and I think there was another one. Stacy might have had.
We had
And
one
then
at the
there was-
billing office.
Yeah. So, and then at the end of the year, there were 2 days of just like general people being available. And if we had a more specific question, they could direct us to who we needed the question to be answered from. So it was almost an advanced support at that point last year. And then this year, I know Stacy already has 1 day scheduled, and then
The one that we just had carried over from 2020, and then we have 1 day scheduled again this month for a full day.
And then with the stuff going on in water and wastewater, I'm anticipating we'll need at least 1 or 2 days for that. And then this year, since the Connect conference was canceled last year, we basically got that portion of the PACE, which is on the claims here, that portion of the PACE thing free of charge almost basically this year. And then that's going to be virtually at the end of April, and we have 3 passes. I don't know the situation on if it's just, one person in front of the computer, or if we could have, a whole handful of people watching a screen. I don't know how that would work. I haven't looked into that yet, but it is something.
Yeah, Andrew, if it's going to be, if you could have different people watching a screen, then we could host that at the data center and put it up on the big screen.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
If
thinking
that's
too.
what you can find, if you can find that out.
Yeah, I'll look into more details and stuff tomorrow or later this week to find out exactly how they manage that from their side, because I mean, I honestly would find it difficult for them to manage only one person being at their screen. So if we could do basically, big classes almost, it'd be pretty nice. We could have more specialized. Go ahead.
Okay, so as of right now, I haven't heard you talk about a Orlando, Florida event or a Dallas event or a Key West event. So do we have any events that we travel to Paradise to have this summer coming up? Or
Unfortunately, we do not this year. It's virtual.
okay, very good, very good. Thank you for that.
Yep.
So we can save the travel money and use it to do the next time they have conferences.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Again, thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
Andrew, which event did you say was free this year here?
So we did the PACE program at the end of 2019 for 2020, which included the 5 training days and the 3 Connect passes, which last year was supposed to be at Disney in Orlando. They canceled that event completely, and we got our money back as a credit. And I held on to that credit until I could see the bill for the PACE program for this year. And once that came through, I asked, and I have all the emails if you guys care to see, but I asked them to apply that credit to this year's PACE bill it's essentially the same price as what the Connect passes were for last year. So we're getting this virtual training week almost. I think it's what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Stacy? Is that what it usually is?
Training days?
No, the Connect.
Oh, yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And the first half of Wednesday usually. When we're in
Yes.
person. I don't know how they do it virtually. This is the first one they've done virtually. So we basically got those 3 passes for free.
Great, thanks. And I brought that up because I know how important, continuous education is in that realm.
Well, and especially with us going to making such a gigantic technology jump, I think it's going to really be a good thing if we can have people working in it and live telling us and showing us how, if we have any questions, how to work through the system. Because it is a very big visual difference as well.
Okay, so I totally agree. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to the claims. You have your list of claims. Joe and I have signed the claims that we have. I'll remind you that these will be in the electric office. And I think there's some even from the past that need to be signed, I believe, over there. So please try to get in and get those signed. But I'm looking for a motion to approve the claims that are presented tonight.
Mike, real quick, the other ones have been all signed. So they're back in Andrew's hands.
Okay.
Sorry about the interruption.
I'll move with the motion that we accept the claims as presented.
Motion by Mike Reeder.
I will second that motion.
Rick seconds the motion. Roll call, Andrew.
Joe Root,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Kent Brewer,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Legal briefs, got anything for us tonight, Alicia?
The only thing is just a quick update. I have the water bids and I am reviewing those to make sure that they comply legally to what we have to have for SRF funding. One of the things is they have to have a drug policy and the drug policy has to match the statute. So that's something that I'm looking at specifically to make sure that they're all in compliance so we don't hit any snags with SRF. So I am working through those and should have them ready by the time that we need to work on the bids. But that's just something that I've been doing behind the scenes. And then other than that, I think I'm pretty much caught up with everything.
Okay, thank you. We've talked a lot about some old business and new business, but is there any other business that of either kind, old or new, that we need to discuss now?
Not necessarily for discussion, but we were audited last week for 2019.
And you're still with us?
Yeah. State board, state board was in person on Monday, and then they were doing the rest virtually. I don't know if they're completely done. I haven't heard anything. So no news is good news from that perspective. And I don't know when to expect the report, but it was the city, which includes us. So we are all audited now for 2019.
Okay. An item that I think is necessary to discuss as a board is at what point and how do we make a decision when we start meeting conventionally? By coming together in probably this room, I think whenever we come back, we'll probably come back to here, to the utility area because of the size, but when do we do that and how do we make those decisions? And that's, I think, a board decision that we need to think about.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Yeah. I mean, as far as space, we can even make this more separated if we need to, but I don't want to, that's something that we have to decide as a board together. So do we?
Will we still have to be on? Will we still have to be on Facebook Live and everything else once we come back, or are we going to open it up to the public?
Great question.
Well, probably we'll continue to have the YouTube, but wouldn't necessarily have to have the format of Zoom unless a member decides that they do not want. I don't think it's an all or none. It's whoever wants to come back. And if someone still wants to Zoom, I think we still have to accommodate that person, because this is a very, it's a very difficult situation.
Well, I know some of us are in a higher risk age group, speaking for myself at least. So I'll go with majority.
Well, and I don't think, I mean, do we want to delay this decision another meeting? And see how some of the reports are that the new strain is starting to show up in Indiana. Do we want to see what's another week or two bring to the picture? Things have looked fairly positive in the last couple of weeks, but from past experiences, it can be suddenly it can go up very quickly too.
Mike, I would suggest that we go the rest of February this way here, or let you go up there if you want, and we shoot for the first meeting in March, which I believe would be March the 1st, that we try to go back if someone wants to stay home. And I think by then we should have a little better idea.
I like that thinking myself.
Yeah, March 1st would be and we can make, that decision can be made 48 hours before the meeting too. If you get to 48 hours before March 1st and things don't look good, we don't do it. But, and I still think we probably need to make that an individual choice for board members and for people who have reports to give or whatever. I don't think that we should mandate that everyone be here because, well, we don't know. And I know some of you, have an idea that I have a pretty close connection to someone that's very seriously ill with COVID, and it's not worth taking chances, folks.
Hearing nothing.
Go ahead. I thought someone was speaking. All right, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Oh, timeout. Are we still able to accept comments, questions about new business, old business?
Sure.
I want to assign myself a task. It's probably time to go back and circle back around with Annie Bacon with regard to our agreement in principle that a number of us have met with the city councilors and Mayor Judy and Annie, where once the city transitions over to their new website, and they've already selected a website host and so forth and specified much of that design. It's very similar to Doublesville's city website. The agreement was they could add some pages for the utilities and we could put our content in there at no charge. And it'd be a relatively simple task and it'd be a seamless website for utilities and city together. So I think it's time to go back and I want to check with Annie this week and ask her just where do we stand on that? What's the timing? When do we get our, let's say, pages that are a container for our content, and get some kind of scheme together or plan together as to how we start putting together that new content on that new website. So that's something I'm going to take on and report back to the board. I do have a question for Todd and Stacy. It's the my favorite subject. It's the where are we on the collecting of the stormwater fees for properties that do not have a utility billing address. And I know I've talked to Todd a few times, and it's another one of these things that COVID got in our way. We had the best intention, and boom, we got hit with all kinds of things, right, Todd? So I'm just looking for some kind of a schedule update on when we might hear more about that.
Rick, I'm going to get with Stacy this week. We'll start working on it, and we will have an update for you at the next meeting.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic.
We ran into different situations and everything, and like you said, I hate to use COVID as an excuse, but we just ran into some situations. But we will be getting back. We will work on it this week, and we'll have an update for you.
Well, thank you. And as I said, as long as we're making a consistent effort, and when things get in our way, we have to work on priorities. And I fully appreciate that. So I'll look forward to your update at our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
Okay, and that's all I have, folks.
Anyone else have any thing to speak about? All right, now I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Kent moves for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you all. If you want to stick around for anything, I'll be on for a while. I'm going to shut off the YouTube though.
Okay, thank you all.